Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Maple Leafs Media. The Maple Leafs right now, we're rolling through Alberta. We just took the first two of an 8-game series between the Calgary Flames and the Toronto Maple Leafs, a 9-game series rather. But first two games checked off the list. We got two more in Alberta. We're going to go into Edmonton and face off against the Edmonton Oilers. Hope everyone's doing well. We got myself, Jake, and how you doing tonight, Clarky?
I'm doing great, Jake. Hope everyone out there is doing great. I know Leafs are on a bit of a roll. The Buds are on a roll, and let's keep that roll going.
Absolutely. We got the comments coming in. We got the comments rolling in. I see them. Love to see it. And the Toronto Maple Leafs last night with a 4-3 victory over the Calgary Flames. I was on here for 3 hours doing a live stream, live reaction video. That was fun. And I think that there's something we need to talk about. Some unsettled business here. And if you watch the game, you probably know who it is. Matthew Tkachuk is a topic of discussion today. I'm just going to show a little clip of last night because this was pretty fun.
Antics that went on, and just right here, look at this, just a little shot towards him, nothing major, but Tkachuk. But you think of Frederick?
That is a Tkachuk tantrum. Clarky, can I get your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely lost a bit of a gasket last night, and we got under his skin like a good old sliver. And you can see that he had a lot of built-up anger there at the end of the game, and he let it out on his helmet in the tunnel. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we won. So I'm glad we got real estate in his head, and I'm glad we're going to match up with him another 8 times this year. Bring it on, Tkachuk. Bring that anger to the next game. We'll see who wins.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and I think that the fireworks, they're only going to flare. They're going to flare the next couple meetings between these teams. Really started in game 1 with that Tkachuk play where he dropped the knee on Jack Campbell, and whether you believe it's intentional or not, there's a debate there, and the Maple Leafs players, they took that personally. You injured our goalie, and the next game, you see Jake Muzzin flip the puck at Tkachuk after a 4-3 win. Maple Leafs take it on the scoreboard, and Matthew Tkachuk absolutely lost it.
Yeah, I mean, we got a good comment in here. Who wins in a 1v1, Tkachuk or Ben Stor? That's great. You know, he's got to take out pure concrete, and I don't know who's going to actually win that. Even if Tkachuk has all the anger in the world. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we got under his skin, and we got the dub. The dub is all that matters. At the end of the day, we could win a fight. We could do all these things. But if we don't come out with the win, then it's an unsuccessful night. But we came out with the win, so it was a successful night. We got the 2 points. Calgary didn't. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing Tkachuk again, though, because we know what both himself and his brother bring to the table as rivals. And at the end of the day, you still got to love to see it to a certain extent because it makes it more interesting. It makes for good hockey, makes for a rival. And I'm hoping we see a fight or we see some intensity or something in the next game with Tkachuk and some of the Leaf players.
Absolutely, and it was just a fun game to watch. It was entertaining 2 games between these 2 teams. 2 teams I'd expect to see in playoff contention by the end of the season in the Canadian division. Now, I'm going to show a little comment here from Jason saying Anderson stood on his head in that second period, and he is correct. Frederik Andersen absolutely did. Although we kind of saw the lead diminish in the second period, that was not because of Frederik Andersen. Frederik Andersen stood on his head last night, faced just 1 shot in the first period, and then the second period, he was overloaded, facing 18 shots to just 5 for Toronto on Markstrom. We got destroyed in the second period and really outplayed, but Frederik Andersen, he was a saving grace for our team. And I'm going to show a shot chart from last night's game, and then this is the shot chart for the Calgary Flames, and then I'll show the shot chart for the Maple Leafs. So here's the shot chart, and as you can see, the darker ones are where the goals were scored from, all down low areas, but the shots, there's that one weird one on the goal line far away, but really the shots here, they're all in high scoring percentage areas. What do you think of that, Clarky?
Oh yeah, I mean, you see the cluster there in front of the net, but that's definitely an issue, and we see, you know, those are areas where you could easily pot the puck in the back of the goal. So I think that Jason Jasper had a great comment that Anderson really stood on his head, and you know, another reason why we can't chirp Anderson so much, or we can't throw him under the bus or underappreciate the services that he provides to the Maple Leafs, because they are very important and they get big wins like this.
Absolutely, they do. Frederik Andersen, he's been so crucial to this team's success over the past 4 seasons. Frederik Andersen, I really think he's going to have a career year this year. I'm going to show the Maple Leaf shot chart in a second, but I got to give a little shit out here to Mike. Mike has been in the comment section very frequently. He says, what's the score going to be with Edmonton? And we'll get to our score predictions later in the show, so stay tuned for that. But I also got to shout you out, Mike. Last night, you were in on the live reaction video, and I said 4-3 Toronto would be the final score. You did as well, and we were both correct. So shout out to you for that, Mike. And Chuck Fleet says, smash the like button, smash it, hit the notification bell. Really helps out the channel, Maple Leafs Media. Constantly
Smash it.
Smash it. Thank you, Clarky. Let's show the Toronto shot chart against the Calgary Flames last night. So our shots and our goals came from the areas you'd expect. But the shots, I like to see our shot cluster right in front of the net there, down low. You got a couple shots from the point, but really, that's a great look overall.
Oh yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Calgary's shot chart looked good, but I'd say ours is just as good, if not even a bit better, because I think Calgary had a bit more to the side and off to the blue line. But yeah, I mean, that's a great chart, and that shows that we had a big presence in front of the net, and we caused a lot of disruption. And you look at some of the goals last night, you can definitely see that that was the case.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm just happy we came away with the victory after really stumbling in the second and third period. It was close to being a disaster, and my live stream reaction last night was close to being a disaster because of it. But it was fun. The Maple Leafs with a big win. We got a bunch of comments before we shift our focus to the Edmonton Oilers. We have Frank Rusty Nails. He was in the comments all night last night. Shout out to him. He says, let's hope the bad blood with Tkachuk doesn't end up with a serious injury to the core, either Matthews, Marner, or Tavares. You know he's going to look at cheap shots. And, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see that, but we got to just play the game of hockey and play to win. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, hopefully that doesn't happen, but we do also have to remember that Tkachuk is a big boy. Like, he's not small. He's 6'2". He's over 200 pounds, and he's got a lot of anger in him. So he'll be looking to make big open ice hits, and he can be a goon if he wants to. So Leaf players need to protect themselves, but we also got some big boys, so we shouldn't be too worried.
Absolutely. I don't think that we should be too worried. Injuries happen, and I don't think that I wouldn't be surprised to see him take a cheap shot or two, but I don't think he's going to go out of his way to do it. I think the Maple Leafs will be fine. Just play the game to win. That's what you got to do. We have a question from Austin. Do you think we should see the Sandin-Lettinen pair next game? I think Sandin should play left and Lettinen right. See if Lettinen can play right, and also say to Lettinen, focus on your D while Sandin scores. I mean, I don't know. I'd say that Lettinen, we saw him last night, and he played 13 minutes of ice time. But Rasmus Sandin, on the other hand, he hasn't gotten in at all. I'd like to see him get in. And the only way I'm really playing both of these guys together is if Zach Bogosian is actually seriously hurt. He went into the boards awkwardly yesterday, and it might be nice to give him some rest, but I don't really think that we should put these two guys together.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit the comment is definitely attractive when you think about it. Two really like Leaf defensemen we haven't seen this year, but also could be an interesting pairing, and it mixes it up. Yeah, again, smash the like button like Tkachuk smash his helmet. But I'd say, you know, I just don't see Keefe playing both these guys at once. I think he plays both them in little spurts like they played Lettinen last night. And I think that he definitely relies on his top guys. Hall, Muzzin, Riley, Brody, those guys are always going to get probably close to, if not always above 21, 22 minutes a night. And Bogosian's always down in the low teens. And I don't know how much they'll actually give to Lettinen and Sandin. But again, if there's an injury opening or a guy needs a rest, we could definitely see Sandin and Lettinen together. It would be interesting.
It would be interesting, but that might be a time where you consider like separating one of the like a Muzzin and a Hall. Even though I love that pairing and what they've been doing, that's where I might consider separating them, because you have one guy who likes to join up on the rush in Lettinen, and then Sandin the same. Maybe you pair them with Hall and Muzzin. That's something that remains to be seen, but I don't really see both of them in the lineup unless we're in a real squeeze with injury bug and everything like that. Question or a comment here, a prediction from Chuck. Soup's gonna get his first goal tomorrow night, and we saw Ilya Mikheyev. I watched back the whole 3-hour stream last night, and Ilya Mikheyev, he got me yelling at the TV a couple times. He had so many opportunities, and he just couldn't capitalize. He's had a lot of opportunities throughout the season, and ever since that Winnipeg game, he's been a standout player to me. Unfortunately, he hasn't gotten on the score sheet, and I think his goals are going to come. I wouldn't be surprised to see this happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd also say, though, I agree with you to a certain extent, and watching him other games where he kind of seems like he's got a lot of skills. He's really fast. He can shoot it. He's got the speed, the size, but sometimes he's like almost too quick, or he's almost like he's moving quicker than he's thinking, or he knows where he's going to go, because he'll go through the whole zone or make a huge play, but then kind of just doesn't finish at the end, or has a close opportunity to finish and just doesn't happen. So I'd like to see a little bit more finishing, but I also think that he's played a good role on the Leafs so far, and I've liked what I've seen from him.
Yeah, he's so valuable on the penalty kill. He's so speedy. He's a great skater. He just needs to capitalize on some of these opportunities, and I really think that that's going to happen in the near future. Watch for Ilya Mikheyev to really contribute to this team's success in the near future on the score sheet as well. We have a comment from George, and I like this. We need to be more physical. Absolutely. Last night we had 11 hits against the Calgary Flames, and if I were to look back at every game, I believe we've been out-hit every single game this season. That's not acceptable. We wanted to be a tougher team to play against, and I believe we have been a tougher team to play against with Bogosian, Simmons, and Thornton when he was in the lineup. But I really think we definitely need to be more physical, because down the stretch, the more physical teams are going to have the most success. We need to separate a body from a puck and play simple, fundamental hockey, physical hockey.
Yeah, I think George has a great point. So does you. So do you. What I would counter, though, is that maybe the Leafs just aren't built to be that physical of a team. Like if you think of some of our lines, just some guys aren't meant to throw the bod, whether it's Marner or Nylander or some of the older guys that maybe just don't want to do that as much anymore. But what I would say is definitely being out-hit. I got the stats here. We're out-hit 18 hits in the past 3 games. That's a lot, and even we saw the first few games, it was like up in the 20s or 30s. So the Leafs definitely need to step up the physicality, but there's also a good point in one of the other shows that when you're getting hit more, you usually have the puck more. So I think that the Leafs have been able to maintain possession really well, and they've been able to really cause some disruptions in the offensive zone. So hopefully they can keep it up and also be a bit more physical.
Yeah, that's a great point. When you have the puck, you don't need to necessarily make as many hits, but I'd like to see more hits be registered ultimately. I mean, I like that we've been blocking the shots and everything, but more hits would be great. It would be great to see it. And I do like this, or I do find interest in this comment. And Austin wants to know, what do you think the fourth line should look like tomorrow? And if I were Sheldon Keefe, I'd be keeping Travis Boyd in the lineup. I would put Jason Spezza at center and Wayne Simmons on the fourth line. Wayne Simmons, Jason Spezza, I thought that they've worked together really well, and I liked what I saw from Travis Boyd. That would leave Pierre Engvall out of the lineup. Pierre Engvall, he played the last couple games, and he looked pretty good, but I really liked what I saw from Travis Boyd. I think he earned the spot on the fourth line as of right now. with scoring a goal in his first game with his team. Putting him with Spezza and Simmons, that's only going to be beneficial to him.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an interesting lineup. I think that, I saw Envol the first few games and even the last couple games, or he didn't play a couple of the first games, but, we've seen him in and out of the lineup. And he's been all right. I mean, I think he's had limited opportunity to make an impact because he just doesn't get that many minutes. But, why not go with the guy that got the goal last night? Obviously, you got to give him another shot. He had a huge game, and I think you got to insert Spezza back in the lineup. Spezza is just one of those guys that we need in the lineup, and he brings a lot of versatility. He's already got a couple assists. He can play on the power play too. So I think that you need to put Spezza in, and of course Simmons. I mean, I think Simmons is just starting to get going, and he does a lot of important things for this team, whether it's on the fourth line or whether it's on the power play or whatever. And I think we need Simmons in the lineup. We need him to get at least 10 minutes a night, I feel like, just because I think he can make an impact on the game. But I agree with your lineup. I think that would be interesting to see.
And you know what? Back to Wayne Simmons. Clarky, you and I have been talking about Wayne Simmons an awful lot, and you had a prediction. You said that he's going to score his first goal in the first Calgary game. He did that, and then he went on to score another one last night. The Wayne train, he is starting to contribute on the score sheet. His contributions go far beyond that, but we love to see him registering some goals. It's great to see.
Yeah, honestly, I think he could have had 4 or 5. Like a couple of the other games earlier in the season, he was so close. That one game, it just trickled right past him. He was right beside the net. He kind of fanned on it. But, as he gets with the Leafs gets more comfortable with the lineup, we could definitely see him potting some more in.
Definitely. I'm seeing some comments about Travis Dermott, and Travis Dermott scratched from last night's lineup against the Calgary Flames, and that really ended a long streak that he had, an Ironman streak he had going on. But Travis Dermott, and I heard this last night a bunch too. He's been seeing a bunch of rumors about Travis Dermott possibly being traded. Does it happen within the next few weeks? Now, okay, it's definitely a possibility. It's a possibility for sure. I don't know where these rumors are coming from. I don't really look up trade rumors or anything. But my answer to this is I don't really see the urgent need to send Travis Dermott elsewhere. He's still a young defenseman. He's got an $870,000 contract, and he wants to be a Maple Leaf. We have so much defensive depth, and in this pandemic season, it's different than ever. Depth means more than ever before. And having Travis Dermott, Mikko Lehtinen, and Rasmus Sandin, all these guys to go to, you can switch them in, night out, have rest days given to other players. I think that's beneficial to have. And I don't really see an urgent need to get rid of Travis Dermott. He doesn't have a big contract. Like I said, $870,000 on his contract. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it honestly make more sense that we just see at the end of the season part ways with the team. I don't think a trade in the next couple of weeks is really going to do much. Isn't his contract expiring anyway? So I don't know how much the Leafs would even get back for him. And again, that also brings me to other point is I don't know what the demand's like. Obviously, he's a nice depth piece, and in this type of season, any team would pick up a depth piece on the defensive end. But I don't know. I don't see it happening, and I think it would just make more sense at the end of the year, part ways. And if he's upset about his minutes, that's understandable. He's a young guy; he wants to develop. But I still think he has stuff to bring to the team, and I think even Mike here saying, "Hope not, hope they don't trade Dermott." Like I think a lot of Leaf fans don't want to see him go, at least at this point. And he still has stuff to bring to the team, and we might not be able to rely on Lehtinen or Sandin. Like Sandin's a young guy. We can't just be like, all right, Dermott, you're out. Sandin, you're the next guy up, or Lehtinen, you're the next guy up. We haven't seen enough of them yet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Rasmus Sandin, he hasn't even played a game yet this year, so we don't know what he's going to look like in this lineup exactly. And he said he's improved a lot this offseason, gained weight. We haven't seen him play in the NHL yet, so this all remains to be seen. I'm super excited to see Sandin in the NHL at the NHL level this season, but I'm still waiting on it. And I just honestly, back to Travis Dermott for a second, I don't think we benefit at all from trading Travis Dermott. Doesn't really create much cap space and doesn't allow us to bring in other assets really, unless we're making a big package deal. So I don't see the need to trade him, but it's definitely a possibility. Corey, this is an interesting comment. If the Maple Leafs go on a big run and win a lot of games and develop chemistry among line mates, how will the return of Joe Thornton and Nick Robertson impact those decisions moving forward? And you know what? Honestly, Corey, that's a great question.
Great question.
We're on a 3-game winning streak right now, and that's without Thornton or Robertson. And I think that these guys, Thornton, that veteran presence, Robertson, he's young and he's got a wicked shot. You can slot these guys into any lineup in the NHL, and it's going to help. It's going to help them. So I know you want to go with a hot hand, and you might not want to change things up too much. Maybe these guys play a rotational role. One night you get some Thornton, and then Thornton takes a rest day and allow Robertson to get some playing time. I don't know. That's something that you could look into doing, a rotational role. But I think that they're only going to impact the Maple Leafs in a positive way.
Yeah, I think this brings up a big point about hockey, about coaching, and about everything as fans, is that we can sit back as a fan base and say, we want this guy in, we want that guy in. We got this guy for a reason. Why aren't we seeing him play? But, if the team's got chemistry and things are rolling for the Buds, then it's better to just leave it how it is. I think that a lot of times fans underestimate chemistry in a locker room, as well as how hard it is to perfect lines or make lines in a way that, players are clicking and reaching their full potential, because a lot of it is lines. A lot of it is the situation. Some of the best players in the NHL are always the ones put in the best situations. So I think that if Keefe finds a way to get the best combination out of the Leafs and we're on a hot streak, then maybe those guys just sit out. I mean, I don't think we can just say, oh, we need Thornton back in the lineup. We need to put him on the first line with Marner and Matthews. I don't think it's that simple. I think we really need to see the situation. And Corey brings up a good point that sometimes you're the product of the situation. If you're out of the team and the team's on a hot hand, it's just is how it is. We've seen it in other great teams before where players miss out because they're injured or they're not there.
Yeah, it's a lot to consider. It really is. There's a lot of stuff going on in that locker room, and we're all on that side of that locker room, so we can speculate. We can tell how we'd like to see it, but ultimately it's up to Sheldon Keefe. And like I said, I only see those two players having a positive impact on this team. Joe Thornton, veteran, leader. He can still play up on the first line, like it or not. He can still play up on that first line. And Nick Robertson, I think you can slot him anywhere in this lineup, and he would contribute with that wicked shot he has.
Yeah, I think Jake Ozzie, just to add on to what you're saying, the one thing we also have to consider is that Jumbo brings a lot of intangibles to the team. And he is a player that's been deep in the playoffs and been around for a while. So a veteran, Jake says, a veteran who's been all the way to the finals, just to have him on the bench in those tight playoff games, giving knowledge to the young guys, that's definitely very important. And he is acting as a player coach because he just has so much knowledge and he knows how the game works. So again, that's also something Keefe needs to consider.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. Absolutely agree with you. We have some other comments that I wanted to get to up here. How about this? Robert says, I like looking at guys like Joey Anderson and Travis Boyd. Jason Spezza can bring it against Edmonton. So we saw Joey Anderson and Travis Boyd make their Maple Leafs debut last night, and it was great to see guys further down the lineup contributing. That's what you need. Depth in this season is going to be crucial. We have injuries. We've been hit pretty hard by the injury bug early on in the season, and the Maple Leafs have responded in a good way. Joey Anderson, Travis Boyd contributing last night, and Jason Spezza, absolutely. You got a rest day. I'd expect him to be right back in there against the Oilers.
Yeah, I think Spezza is always going to bring it. And it's also nice to have the depth. So a guy like Spezza, who is 37, can take a bit of a break, can take a night off. Because at the end of the day, we also want Spezza for the playoffs. We know what he can bring, and we saw what he did with Columbus last year. We need a guy like that down the stretch. So hopefully he can stay healthy. We can play some of these other players, get some of our young guys developing, because Spezza and Thornton, they're not always going to be around forever too. They are kind of short-term, temporary pieces. So we can get Joey Anderson or Boyd into the team and start to get them familiarized. Who knows? Maybe they could be important down the run for the Leafs in the next coming years.
Definitely. And Joey Anderson is just 22 years old, and he's got a 3-year contract with the team. We got him back in the deal for Andreas Janssen and he's on a team-friendly contract, $750,000 each of the next 3 seasons. I'm excited to see what Anderson can contribute, and I don't want to see him on a nightly basis this season. I'd like to see him get his share of opportunities, last night being one of them. But I think his role right now at 22 years old, it's perfect. On the taxi squad, get some playing time, get some more NHL experience. We're going to talk more about the Edmonton Oilers-Toronto Maple Leafs game, and we'll get to predictions later in the show. We're about half an hour through the show. So let's talk about Toronto-Edmonton, the 6-2 Maple Leafs taking on the 3-5 Edmonton Oilers. And interesting stat here, the last time the Maple Leafs lost in Edmonton was February 11th, 2016. That might not seem that long ago. It really might. But just to give you some insight of how long ago that really was, Dion Phaneuf was traded 2 days prior to this game. And that seems like forever ago. That's a distant memory that Dion Phaneuf was our captain.
Yeah, I mean, back to the days of Dion. Like, I can't even remember that. But, it shows that the Leafs have had success out west, at least in Edmonton. And let's hope to keep that streak going on. I mean, how great would that be to keep that throughout the whole season? We come back next year or whenever and be like, oh, we haven't lost since 2016 still. Sometimes teams get comfortable with those wins and they get comfortable in a certain stadium and they can just dominate. Hopefully the Leafs can do that up in Edmonton.
Hopefully, because the Maple Leafs right now, we're rolling on a 3-game win streak. We took the first 2 of this Alberta road trip. We got 2 more to go. How happy would it would make me extremely happy to go home with 4 wins in Alberta. I remember talking and asking you about a week ago, what would you ideally like to see out of 4 games? How many wins would you be content with? You said 3. I said 2. Now that I've got these 2 wins, I want the full 4. I'm hungry and I want more now.
Yeah, I mean, to come back with 4, can't get any better than that. I mean, I remember having that conversation with you, and I was like 3, and that was pushing it because I was concerned about the Leafs against Edmonton. Because honestly, I do think, and I knock on wood, I hope I'm proven wrong, but I do think the Leafs are going to drop one of these games against Edmonton because I felt that those 2 teams just play each other so well up in the, I was going to call it ACC, but obviously Scotiabank Center now. So I think it's going to be an intense game. I think it's going to be better than the Calgary games, and I think it's going to be closer.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So let's talk about 2 players that have really stood out, and obviously Connor McDavid is always a standout player. But right now, Mitch Marner and Connor McDavid are tied for the lead in NHL points with 12. How impressed have you been with Mitch Marner so far this season?
I mean, we had a question earlier. I forget who sent it, but they said who was the best player, and I saw a comment after saying Marner, and I have to agree with that. I think Marner is our best player on the Leafs right now. I think he brings so much to the table. He seems to be involved in like almost every goal somehow. He's always around, and I think that he brings it every day. He brings it night in, night out. He shows he's been durable. There's been some times where he has an awkward play or he doesn't look the best, but he always bounces back. He always has a good game, and I think he's been very important to the Leafs. And he's got like how many assists now? It's ridiculous. So. I don't know. I think he deserves to be at the top there with McDavid because we also have seen props to McDavid what he can do. Absolutely.
Mitch Marner through the first 8 games of the season, 5 goals, 7 assists, and he said he wanted to take more shots, shoot more frequently, add that goal scoring to his arsenal of weapons, and he really has done that this season. He's gotten a lot of goals early on in the season. He had the game winner last night, and Jason put out a stat last night that said,
shout out Jason.
Yeah, when Mitch Marner scores 2 points in a game, the Maple Leafs are 6-0 so far. 6-0 when Mitch Marner contributes 2 points. That shows how important he is to this team and their success. But Mitch Marner, Connor McDavid, these guys tied for the lead in NHL points, and I'd expect these guys to put on a show over the next 2 games.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle, and who's tied with him there at the top? McDavid, and we're playing him the next 2 games, so it's going to be great to see.
It's going to be interesting, and if you actually look down at 1 point less both John Tavares and Leon Draisaitl are tied with 11 points. So this
Yeah.
is going to be fun to watch. A lot of superstar talent here. We've got comments rolling in, and it says, Henny likes the blue leaf lights. Thank you. I got this new setup in here for Maple Leafs Media. This is all for you. Marner and Simmons are the best players so far from Chuck Fleet. And I like that. Wayne Simmons pick. That's going off the board a little bit. I don't think many people would have said that. But Wayne Simmons, he's really been contributing. And it hasn't necessarily shown on the score sheet every night. But we've talked about him a lot. Deservingly so. He's an extremely hardworking player. And Mitch Marner, I think he's ready to take his game to the next level.
Yeah, interesting picks by Chuck. But, I mean, definitely could make arguments for it. And I think there's also a lot of other Leaf players that you could talk about. I know he's gotten his praise recently, but Hall, he's got a lot of minutes recently for a reason, and he's seen as a really shut-down defenseman for the Leafs. And as much as we've had issues out in front of the net, I don't think Hall's been one of them. There's a lot of other players, JT, Matthews, Nylander. I think a lot of players, we're 6-2, so we have to have a lot of players playing good to be 6-2, and I think we do. So let's just keep it up. Let's keep it rolling, and hopefully we can head back to Ontario, head back to the 4-1-6 with 4 dubs.
The 6, yes. And back to your point, like, you have to have a lot of players playing well to be 6-2 early on. And we've got hit pretty hard by the injury bug. Our depth players that are going to be so pivotal to this team's success later in the season, they've been contributing early on, and you love to see that. We need to see this sustained consistently throughout the remainder of the season. We have some comments here, and let's go right into this from Jake Ozzie. We should be talking about the Leafs' biggest problem at the moment: penalties. We've been taking too many. Our penalty kill has been good, but they need more discipline. And I agree with you. We've been taking a lot of penalties, a lot of lazy penalties. It seems a lot of holding, hooking, or tripping penalties that are all from behind, and we can't be playing catch up with these penalties. We can't be getting caught with Marner or anybody out there for 2 minutes on the ice. We gotta have quick shifts and not get caught. Have simple, great discipline, I guess. We gotta be more disciplined.
Yeah, I was looking it up. We have about, I think it's average 8 minutes of penalty, 7-8 minutes of penalty minutes last few games. So, it definitely is a problem, and the Leafs definitely need to be smarter. And the thing is, too, is we don't want to play on the penalty kill. I don't know how our penalty kill's been. I think we're ranked middle of the pack. And it's been interesting seeing some of the players on the penalty kill in terms of I think we've seen Mikheyev on it a bit, Hyman, and Keith's really mixed it up. But we don't want to be playing on the penalty kill. I think that's a great point. A weakness for the team could be bad penalties, undisciplinedness. So let's keep it going, and let's try to keep those penalty minutes down.
Yeah, our penalty kills are right around the middle of the pack, 14th in the league right now. So just higher part of the middle of the pack, but it's middle of the pack. And this comment's interesting, Corey. This is an interesting comment again. Thank you for another great comment. Hypothetically, if McDavid and Draisaitl were both to get injured, there are no Oilers. That's a slippery slope for a franchise. They need more depth. They only do as good as those two play. And I'm looking at a team in the league right now, another team that's similar, that didn't have this problem early on with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. They didn't have this problem. They were loaded up and down the lineup when they made those Stanley Cup runs. And they had a full collection of players up and down the lineup, a lot of depth. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they just can't surround Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin with adequate pieces. And you're seeing the same thing in Edmonton, and it's really wasting away McDavid and Draisaitl's prime of their careers.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point. Pittsburgh was stacked. I remember that first couple of years they had Kunitz, Stahl was their third line center, Jordan Stahl, when he was really good. Yeah. Letang, Fleury, Kunitz was I think I already said Kunitz, Hossa. So they had a great team. And definitely Edmonton, they have two of the best players in the NHL. There's no sense in denying that. any Leaf fan would want Draisaitl or McDavid.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they're just not even. And I think that Tippett has a lot of issues because he doesn't have a team that's constructed right. I think it's too top-heavy, more top-heavy than the Leafs. I mean, Tyson Barrie got brought in. I don't know if that's going to solve any of their problems. Their goalie was a bit shaky the first bit. But, Edmonton still does have that wow factor because they have that much talent on their top end. So we still have to be concerned. And I think they played the Leafs really well. And they also got some scrappers. I mean, Zach Kassian, they got a bit of depth with Ennis and Puljujärvi. So they got some good players. But definitely still a bit too uneven.
Yeah, it's like we're looking at our team last year. We were very top heavy, but looking at the Edmonton Oilers, they're just after Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Yamamoto. They have like a couple players that can contribute, but not on a nightly basis. The Maple Leafs have players around their core four that will contribute on a nightly basis. The Edmonton Oilers are missing some pieces, definitely. We have some comments that I want to get to as well. And interesting, do you think Marner should be the captain? And no, I think John Tavares was the right decision.
No. Yeah, I agree.
Like Wayne Simmons, he can fight and he's great in front of the net. Absolutely, Mike. Spot on.
Yeah.
Workhorse. Oh, he is such a workhorse. Like Mikheyev's been flying all over the place too. He's gonna register some of these goals sooner than later.
Yeah.
So let's talk more about the Edmonton Oilers Toronto Maple Leafs matchup, and then we'll get to some comments later. If you see any you like, point them out. But we have the Edmonton Oilers we're playing against, who are the 20th ranked penalty kill unit in the NHL through their first 8 games of the season. That's something that the Maple Leafs power play needs to capitalize on. The Maple Leafs power play, it's looked decent through the first 8 games of the season. I'd like to capitalize on a little more opportunities, and going up against the Oilers penalty kill unit, that's not really, it hasn't really impressed at all. And Mikko Koskinen, who I really don't believe in as a starting goalie in the NHL, we need to capitalize on our opportunities on the power play.
Yeah, we were 25, 50, and 100% in the past 3 games. So I think that we definitely have the ability, and we have some snipers. I mean, there's been a lot of chemistry, I think, on the power play. Whether that was the other night where Marner faked the shot or faked the pass and shot it and it was tipped at the end of the game, or, with Matthew Snipe. So I think that at the end of the day, we have the firepower, and we also throw in a Simmons sometimes, or we throw in, I guess now, not Thornton, but maybe a Hyman, a bigger body, Spezza on the power play, cause some disruption out in front of the net. And I think the Leafs can definitely continue on that streak. And, yeah, they have to exploit one of Edmonton's weaknesses. We have to beat them somehow. I think that also we gave up some poor penalties against Edmonton last few games we played them, last couple games. And I think some of those penalties were makeup calls by the refs. I didn't really agree with some of those tripping and hooking calls. They're really weak, but nevertheless, like, we were on the power play, we're on the penalty kill, and we got to limit the amount of penalties we get and capitalize on our power play opportunities.
Definitely. Playing a team against Edmonton who's got a lethal power play, we have to be special on the special teams units, both penalty kill and power play. I really liked what I've seen from our penalty kill so far this season. But I'm going to talk about another weakness of the Edmonton Oilers right now. The Edmonton Oilers are allowing basically 34 shots on goal per game, and that's 28th in the NHL. That is a very telling stat. And with a goalie like Mikko Koskinen, the more shots you get on goal, the more opportunities you're going to have, the more juicy rebounds you're going to have. Get in front of the net and hope for some rebounds, hope for some bounces that go your way. Because I remember the games against Edmonton, there were some weird games with a lot of odd bounces and stuff like that. So got to just fire a shot on net if you have an opportunity.
Yeah, I'd say Edmonton suffers from the same problem as us, which is that, the defense just isn't that good. And, they have Tyson Barrie, Darnell Nurse, who's all right. Chris Russell. I mean, their players aren't that bad, but I just don't know if they really play defense that well. And yeah, their goalie's not too good either. Or that he had a bad start of the season. He played okay against the Leafs. But yeah, the Leafs definitely need to exploit that. And we know that Edmonton will give us opportunities at some point during the game. And when those do arise, we capitalize.
Nice. I like that little rhyme at the end. When they arise, you got to capitalize. Absolutely, Clarky. You're spot on. Let's get into some shot charts again, and then we'll get into the score predictions. And we'll be taking comments as well. But I think that these are some telling shot charts. And I'm going to start off by showing the goals against the Toronto Maple Leafs the past 3 games in a row. So last night's goals. Interesting, all from that slot area.
Yep.
The first game against Calgary, 2 games back. Same thing, down low, right in front of the net, side of the net. Then we go back to the prior game, the last game against Edmonton. Boom. Spot on, right in front of the net, in the slot. We really got to do a better job in front of the net. What do you think of those shot charts right there? Those are the goals against the Maple Leafs the past 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. In front of the net is a problem for the Leafs. And I think that Brody and Riley don't really do a good job of clearing in front of the net. And maybe that we need to switch the defensive pairings up a bit. But I'd say overall, whether it's even a forward coming back checking, clearing, and helping in front of the net, playing a bit of defense, I think overall the Leafs, that's an issue that they probably are trying to address. Don't get it wrong. I definitely believe Keith is definitely showing these guys these stats too. So it's an issue that needs to be addressed, and the Leafs need to play more tight in front of their net and help out Campbell and Anderson a bit. Let the shots be a little easier. So, it's got to be addressed.
It definitely has to be addressed. I mean, those goals, I'm going to show them one more time. Last night, here, right in the high slot area. Then right in front of our net and the side of our net. And boom, boom, right like a couple inches away from our goalie. It's really hard to get a read on a shot when it's right in front of you. And like last night, Justin Hall got in the way of Frederik Anderson for one of those shots, and he just couldn't see. The Johnny Gaudreau goal, are you kidding me? TJ Brody's got to cover Johnny Gaudreau better there because Gaudreau was wide open right at the side of the net. Those are some ugly opportunities we're giving up, and that's something that can definitely come back to bite us later in the season.
Yep, for sure. Got to clean up those mistakes early.
And yeah, Roger says it spot on. The one shot was screened by Hall. Freddie didn't have a chance, and that's unfortunate. I mean, Justin Hall, he was trying to make a block, and he's been doing a great job at blocking shots this year. He just got in the way on that one. It happens. I know. I used to be a defenseman. It happens.
Yeah.
How about these shot charts? We have the last game between the Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. These were the Edmonton Oilers shots against us. And yeah, there's a lot of shots, 32 shots on goal. And if you look at them, they're coming all from right in the middle, very compact in the middle slot area, and then a bunch from the point. There's a lot of opportunities from rebounds from these angles. And right in the slot is not where you want to have that massive cluster of shots. We need to do a better job of clearing out front of the net. And that's just a common theme. Every game, it seems that's the biggest problem defensively.
Yeah, I remember that game too. There was a lot of 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, odd man rushes. Zach Kassian, he can cause a lot of disruption in front of the net, so we have to be mindful of that.
Definitely. We need to do a better job clearing out front of our net, and I think that the best defensive pairing that does that is Justin Hall and Jake Muzzin. They've been exceptional together. They really have, but I think we might need to consider swapping our defensive pairings a bit, changing it up a bit, and separating that gold mine of a defensive line with Justin Hall and Jake Muzzin. I mean, that's a great defensive pairing, but maybe we stick Muzzin with Riley and Brody with Hall to really spread the wealth of players that like to join up on the rush and our defensive defensemen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the issue is going to be fixed, but it is something the Leafs still need to consider. We are 6-2, but some of those games could have gone either way. So we could have been easily 5-4, for instance, or I don't know. So not 5-4. That doesn't even make sense. 5-3.
5-3.
So who knows?
So Jason here says Leafs can't have it. Wow. Leafs can't keep having inconsistencies during the game. It will catch up to them eventually. And Jason,
Yeah.
you're spot on. You're spot on. The Leafs, like the first period yesterday, 10 shots to 1, and we were leading. And then we go into the second period. We score an early goal, and after that, it was all Flames. 18-5 in the shots the second period for Calgary. The third period, Calgary, they were the better team as well, but the Maple Leafs, we got a goal and we won with a beauty shot from Mitch Marner. We're not going to get these bounces all the time. We're not going to get lucky bounces. We need to stay consistently consistent and keep applying the pressure. We can't stay back. We need to generate more opportunities, generate shots, stay consistent through a whole 60 minutes. I'd like to see that because I feel that's something I haven't seen. Maybe the Winnipeg game, but I feel like I haven't seen the Maple Leafs dominate a full game for a full 60 minutes yet this season.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. And, it definitely is something where a team never wants to be complacent, because if we become complacent, we look at our record and we're like, we're dominating this division, or it's us in Montreal versus everyone else. That's when mistakes can happen. So I think the Leafs definitely need to put it to the gas, step on the gas pedal, and keep trying to make up for some of those mistakes, whether it's bad defensive in their own zone in front of the net, taking bad penalties, undisciplinedness. So there's a lot of things the Leafs can improve on. And also for Keefe, I think finding that right combination. I don't know if we've had that right combination with defensemen yet. And we've seen even in the forwards the past couple games, putting in Boyd, Anderson, it's paid off a bit. So I think that creativity's got to keep it up going forward, and the Leafs can have success. But yeah, it's keep on the gas. Keep on the gas. I also want to say Stormy Capri's got a good comment here. Shout out from Brenton, Ontario. Love seeing people. If you haven't, shout out where you're from or whereabouts, Ontario, Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, Nunavut, wherever you're from. We like hearing about that. That's interesting. And also, if you haven't already, smash the like button. Just smash it. Smash the like button because, big game tomorrow night. Leafs are on a roll, and we're all on a roll. We're all on a high from the Leafs right now. So let's go. Go Leafs, go, baby.
Yeah, I want to go back to your point for a second about how the Maple Leafs, they can't be complacent. And I want to really stress that here because it's a shortened 56-game season. And even more so than that, all these points are all within this division. So you lose a couple games. Say we lose a couple games to the Oilers, who are at the bottom of the standings right now. They're caught up to us really quickly. Can't get complacent. Keep the pedal to the metal. Let's go. Keep it going. Keep the pedal to the metal as we cruise through Alberta. Let's go.
Wayne Train, baby.
Wayne Train. Okay, we've got down under, the land down under. Beautiful country. Beautiful country. We have Brantford, Ontario, the home of the great one. Newfoundland.
Whew. Must be cold out there.
Really. Wingham, Ontario.
Cool.
Manitouwadge? Manitouwadge? I think that's how I say it.
Leafs Nation's all around, all around.
Born and raised in Guelph, Ontario. Live in New Hamburg. Love to see it all around Ontario, all around the world, all the way in the land down under, in Australia. Love to see it. Newfoundland. I love seeing everywhere where people are from. It's awesome to see support from all around the world, from Maple Leafs media. It's really awesome. It really is. There's a comment here. I think that this year, Sheldon Keefe and the leadership are doing well to regroup when they need to. And I agree with you, Rusty. I really do. You said this last night at the second intermission. The Maple Leafs need to regroup and get together. And I think Sheldon Keefe, he's not afraid to make adjustments. We've seen him shuffling around the lines all season long. And that's really good. We don't need another stubborn head coach. Sheldon Keefe, he's done a great job of managing this roster this year.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you guys. I mean, if you think of the Leafs situation, a lot of players, a lot of different combinations, you almost need a guy that can be flexible, be open to changes, be open to mixing up the lineup. So I think Keefe's done that so far. I think also you got to give credit to the leadership. I know a lot of people even myself, were on Dubas before the season started. Dubas needs to do this trade. Dubas needs to draft this guy. Dubas needs to do that, this, that. And it's, at the end of the day, Dubas, I think so far, has constructed a team a bit more balanced this year. And we have to give credit where credit is due.
Yep.
So, shout out to Dubas, shout out to Keith, shout out to Shanahan. And also, let's just keep it going. Let's hope that the Leafs can keep it on this roll, because right now we are on a win streak. Right now we have a great record, but we have to keep it up. It's only been 8 games.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I got to go to this comment here. Shout out from Calgary, Alberta. I'm not a popular guy at work today, but my Leafs jersey and I love this season. Represent the Maple Leafs in Alberta. We're cruising through Alberta right now, and we're hoping to go 4-0 against the Alberta teams in Alberta. That'd be a great start to the season. Drank Rusty Nails goes back to Kyle Dubas. He's shut the critics down a bit this year, and I agree. Kyle Dubas, the first season, or with the contracts negotiation, resigning the core four, he promised to do that. And everyone was saying, how is he going to do that? It seems impossible. It's downright impossible. He can't do it. Well, he did it, and then people didn't like how he did it. They thought he was too lenient and too giving in his contract negotiations. But he fulfilled his promise. This offseason, he says, I want to make this team a tougher team to play against. That was his promise to the Leafs Nation. He fulfilled that promise as well. I think Kyle Dubas, he did a really exceptional job considering the flat cap situation, what's going on in the world, and how little wiggle room we had on the cap. Kyle Dubas did an exceptional job really adding more pieces to this puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, you're a product of circumstance, and I think you nailed it there too, where, this is an unprecedented season. We didn't even know if the season was going to begin. Yeah, it is a nice hat, nice St. Pat's hat. But, so we can't say, oh, he should have done all these big moves. And we know in reality that they probably wouldn't have happened either way. But yeah, what I would say is that so far, Dubas, we need to tip our cap to him, and we need to say, you know what? He has shown that he's made the Leafs a bit more balanced. He's made them with some more energizer buddies and Simmons, and Soup's gone a bigger role. And I think, overall, so far, so good. But again, we have to reiterate that so far, it's only been 8 games. So we have to continue to put our foot on the pedal, keep going on the gas, make it to the next stop. We're not filling up for gas. We're already loaded up in the tank. We got to keep going, and we got to keep this train going, because if the Leafs can string together a really good record at the start of the season, watch out. I don't think teams can make it back to us. If we can go like 10, 12, 12-2, there's only a 56-game season. Then we probably only have to win 60, 50% of the rest of our games. So let's go. Go Leafs go, baby.
Go Leafs go. I really think that Kyle Dubas, he did a good job. I really think he did a good job this offseason, and Leafs Nation's been hard on him. And I think it's about time we give him some praise as for right now, but right now only, because we need to see this success that we've had early on continue throughout the season. We have a comment from Dan, who was in the comments last night. He is a Montreal fan. He was in the comments all the way back. I remembered him. I remembered Dan. Shout out to him. Can't stay long, guys. We're doing well. We're doing well, and damn right, it was a good game. And it was really fun to see Matthew Tkachuk have a little. He had a little fit at the end of the game.
I don't know if you can show that video again. Can you show that video again of Tkachuk doing that? Or
I got you. Give me a second.
Okay. Yeah, we gotta talk about this. I want everyone to shoot your comment in. I know away from society you're talking about Dubas liking some tweet, but everyone shoot your comment in of what you think about what Tkachuk did at the end of the game last night, as well as Muzzin, because he was involved. But what you guys think?
Here it is.
Antics that went on, and just right here, look at this. Just a little shot towards him, nothing major, but Tkachuk. But you think of Frederick.
Honestly, I love it from Jake Muzzin. I love what Jake Muzzin did right there. Obviously, if I was a Calgary fan, it would really piss me off a lot. But I loved the little. It was just a little tease, a little fun. I loved seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, we got the better of Tkachuk last night. And I think everyone can say that we came out on top in that game. We got the dub. That's all that matters. And Tkachuk's a little mad. So I'm hoping to see him on the ice against the Leafs again soon. Hopefully everyone stays healthy and we play him, because we got to play Calgary with Tkachuk in the lineup after that happened. That's crazy. What are we getting some of the comments here? Let's see some of the reactions.
When your mom takes away your Xbox. That's funny.
That's a good one.
Think he got a taste of his own medicine. Crybaby. Crybaby deserves that for driving his knee into Campbell the game before. Interesting. Did you think there was malicious intent on that play, Clarky?
It was dirty. It looked dirty. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you never want to say that the guy intentionally wants to hit someone in the head or hurt them. But it did look like maybe not completely intentional, but it may be like, oh, let me just sit on him or let me just hit him. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But, yeah, no, I thought that was dirty.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I've looked at it like 50 times, and I mean, I'm trying to side with him a bit and be like, okay, it happens, and I'm putting myself in his skates and thinking, okay, it happens, but then I look at it and the momentum that he's driving down with really looks like it was intentional. So I think he had it coming, and I think he had it coming to him. We've got more comments. He went home and changed his diaper. He got those thuggies.
That's a chirp.
He's a crying baby. Dirty hit on Campbell. I mentioned in the previous show, Keefe is coaching this team great. And again, many are not talking about what Manny Malhotra has brought to this team. Clarky, I know you love what Manny Malhotra brings to this squad. You wanna give us some insight on that?
Honestly, the Leafs might hit the face-off percentage that I would get in every Chell game. You know, in Chell, NHL, anyone ever wants to play me, I'm retired, but I'll come out of retirement and play you. They are literally winning every face-off. Like, I know in Chell I win every face-off, but it seems like the Leafs, they got a percentage well over 50. Manny Malhotra is the main reason for that. The guy's a legend. If you don't remember him, Google him. He was a great NHL player. He never played for – I don't think he played for the Leafs, but, you know, he did a lot for Vancouver and a lot for hockey. So thank you, Manny, for being on our team. Let's hope that the Leafs can keep winning those face-offs, because it's important, very important.
Definitely, absolutely. I think that Manny Malhotra, big face-off guy, and that really helps out this team a lot. Face-offs really help out with possession. There's a question underneath that, though. Or actually, let's go back to the Tkachuk here. We got Jason. He threw a temper tantrum like a little child who doesn't get his way. He did.
I mean, I'm not a dad yet, but if that's what children are like, whew. Like, I'm not having any kids then, Jason.
Oh boy. You're funny, Clarky. We have Mike says he should have got 6 games for that, and we're gonna go with a question from Austin. Do we claim a goalie on waivers? With our goalie situation right now, Freddie were to go down, we'd have Michael Hutchinson as a starter again, and we don't want that, obviously. Freddie Anderson is our guy. He's our starting guy. But I don't really see us bringing in a goalie at the moment. Jack Campbell, he's got a 4-week expected to miss period. He's expected to miss 4 weeks. And with that, Jack Campbell, like with the quarantine period of bringing in another goalie, it's 14 days. That's half the time Jack Campbell's expected to miss. So if we claimed a goalie on waivers, we could do it. If if a goalie becomes available, like Aaron Dell went to New Jersey, but I don't really see us making a move outside of claiming a goalie off waivers. So it's a possibility if a goalie that we're interested in becomes available.
Yeah. What's Campbell out again? Is it concussion?
I don't exactly remember the injury, but he's out for like 4 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, I don't know what to think of Hutchison at this point, so I think claiming might be a good opportunity. But Wait from Society, I think, has got a good comment here. You know, maybe this is a factor. He says, I think Hutch just got a little too nervous with large crowds. During the pandemic, he can do some good, man. Hutch isn't what everyone assumes he is. And maybe, you know, that's a good point. Maybe that an empty stadium is like a hallelujah for some of these players, where they're like, hey, I don't have screaming fans. I don't have 25,000, 20,000 fans. screaming down at me, giving me pressure. You come into an empty stadium, and at the end of the day, Hutch has been a backup and also played NHL games because he has shown potential. You never become a backup goalie because you're horrible. Obviously, coaches and teams, they see something in you. They're like, "Okay, that guy's got at least something. He can hold the fort for a bit." So maybe we need to give Hutch a bit of an opportunity, and also see what he has, because it's difficult to see what a guy has when he's their third goalie.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it could impact it, and we saw Hutchinson. He actually got a playoff win. He got a playoff win last year with the Colorado Avalanche, and it's another good point here. You have to look at the defense Hutch had in front of him too with the Maple Leafs. It was pretty ugly last year. I think we definitely improved it this year, but I mean, it remains to be seen. I think that Hutchinson, he'll get a couple starts, and if need be, he'll I don't see him starting any more than 3 or 4 games in the next couple weeks. Really, I really don't.
Yeah, for sure.
Austin says Leafs and Blues talking a trade apparently, and yesterday I saw that the trade talk was someone commented this. I don't know how credible it is, but someone commented that Vince Dunn for Travis Dermott was a possibility. I really don't know. I don't know. We'll see if a trade does happen. Let us know in the comments, and we'll talk about it. Give our analysis. But
well, I just say I don't know. I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
I mean, I don't really see the need to trade Travis Dermott right now, and that's the only person I really see us trading at this current point in time.
Yeah. I don't think the Leafs have much of a trading block. And what I would say is anyone that was in this live stream before the season started, we went through like thousands, I'm not kidding, thousands of trade offers, combinations, different things the Leafs could do, none of which happened actually. But to say, nevertheless, everyone turns into an Elliot Freeman or some sort of analyst when it comes to trades, because trades get people going. So maybe that would happen, but I also think at this point, I just don't see with the quarantine restrictions as well as integrating the player in the lineup, the Leafs really need to do that at this point. At least yet.
Absolutely. I agree with you. There's not really a big need for it, and with quarantine period, it's just really complicated. It's not territory we've ever explored in the NHL, and it remains to be seen with what happens and how all these trades work out. But let's get into the fun part of the show. We got our score predictions.
Let's go.
Score predictions, and everyone in the comments section. Before we do that, I'm going to ask you, please smash the like button.
Smash it.
Hit the notification bell. And if you're watching on Facebook, share this video with your friends on Facebook Messenger, in a Maple Leafs or a hockey group. Share it wherever. It really helps out the channel. It helps out the brand in a big way. Trying to do special stuff here with Maple Leafs Media. So let's get into our score predictions. Drop your score predictions for tomorrow night's game against the Edmonton Oilers in the comments section below. Clarky, I'm going to let you start. What's your score prediction for tomorrow night's game?
All right, little disclaimer. I know we already said it, but I said that the Leafs, I would be happy if the Leafs came out with 3 wins on this Alberta road trip. I think that Edmonton played us really good out of those 2 games. I don't know. It was tight. It was very tight. So I got the Leafs winning tomorrow night still. I think they dropped the next game, though. I got the Leafs winning tomorrow night, 5-2 for Toronto. I think Matthews gets 2, Marner Potts 2 assists. That's my prediction. I think that overall it might be a close game at the start, but I think the Leafs are just going to blow it out. They're going to blow the back end out of this game. They're too hot right now. They're 6-2. They're on a roll. They're steamrolling through Alberta. Alberta Oil, I'm sorry it's done. And the Leafs are taking whatever is left there. The Leafs are drying out your oil. We're bringing it back into Ontario, and we're going to suck it all up and enjoy it. So you know what? Suck it, Edmonton fans. Leafs 5-2. Book it.
All right. I like it. Well, the Maple Leafs are on a bit of a roll right now, a 3-game win streak, and that's great. I think that this team's looked really good over the past 3 games, which means we're due for an upset. Sorry, guys. I think that we're going to lose 5-3 to the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow, and I'd love to be proved wrong. I would love to come on here tomorrow night and be incorrect with this score prediction, but I think you said it yourself. Edmonton played us really well those games we played against them, and I don't know how long we sustain this winning streak for. Alberta, it's a lot of travel and stuff. I think 5-3, Edmonton takes this game, and I think we take the second game in Edmonton and go home with 3 of 4 in Alberta, which is a successful road trip in my books. We got a bunch of score predictions coming in here. 4-3 Leafs, and I think you guys got it right last game. I got it right last game. I said 4-3 on the 3-hour live stream. That was a long live stream, and it was, 4-3. That was fun. Great prediction on my part, and Mike also said it in the comments as well. Sledge Hockey says 4-2 Leafs.
Solid prediction.
Salmon, share this video, liked it, smash the notification bell. Shout out to you. Thank you.
Smash the bell.
Chuck says 4-2 Toronto. Mark's got 4-1 Leafs. 4-2 Toronto.
Everyone's saying Leafs got this game.
Toronto
5-2 Toronto. Wow, we're confident now. I mean, wow, 5-3 Toronto.
3-1, and I'm assuming that's Toronto. Toronto Maple Leafs maybe 5-2. 3-2 Toronto. Okay. 3-1 Oilers. Okay, so yeah, I mean, honestly, I really want the really want the Toronto Maple Leafs to win, obviously. You can look at me. I'm all decked out in Maple Leafs gear. I got my room blue lighting for crying out loud. Like, I want the Maple Leafs to win, but I think that I don't know how long we sustain this winning streak for, and it would be great to see it go on. But this is just scar tissue talking right now. Once we get something going, I expect the downfall to happen. So I'm going to say that this is the game the win streak comes to an end, and after that, we will rebound.
Yeah, it might be that. It also might be like GME stock where it's just taking flight. It's going to the moon. I think that the Toronto Leaf record, then in the year, the wins could just be like this, that, boom, to the moon. You never know. So I say that the Leafs, at the end of the day, though, in all seriousness, we have to take these games like any other game. Treat it like we are 500 record or below 500. The Leafs can't be complacent. It's very important that we get some wins, but it's all about consistency. We're always trying to be. What do you say? Consistently consistent or consistently?
Gotta be consistently consistent.
Yeah.
Consistently consistent, just like Maple Leafs media is bringing you content. Did you watch the Claps against Winnipeg in their last game? That's the Oilers, and I didn't watch that game, but 4-0 Leafs.
Confident.
I like it. Robert.
Isn't Robert the one from Alberta too?
Yeah, he's the Calgary. He's with.
I wonder what his coworkers are saying
fans.
about that prediction.
He lives with a bunch of Calgary fans, or works with them rather. Salmon says 3-2 Toronto Maple Leafs are playing defensive hockey right now. It's not going to be a high-scoring game, but I still think they win. All right, Salmon, I like it, and I like everyone's confidence here. I just got a bit of scar tissue talking right now. We have, or boom, right back to earth, and we lose 5 in a row. I don't think we're going to lose 5 in a row. I really don't think so, but I think that, well,
it's always a possibility.
Every season has its ups and its downs, and just losing one game, I don't think it hurts us that much. I think we rebound after one loss, and I hope that we play this team well. I hope we continue the streak, but it remains to be seen. I think the Leafs are this year's Tampa Bay Lightning, where they went on an insane winning streak, like 20 games in a row. Wow. You know what? I remember that winning streak. That was wild. And if the Maple Leafs did that, I think that would pretty much secure a playoff spot in this Canadian division. All the points being in one division. I think that'd secure a playoff spot pretty much, and that'd be huge. That'd be huge for the confidence of this young group.
Yeah, I mean, also we got a great start, and I think you can't underestimate a great start. I know I've been saying it's only been 8 games, but 6 wins to start. If we can keep that up or maintain even a little bit worse than that, like, we're going to make the playoffs. But it is a matter of consistently consistent and focusing.
Definitely. We have player predictions, and then we're going to get out of here unless we have some other questions and comments that we want to get to. So let's do player predictions, and drop your player predictions for tomorrow night's game in the comments section as well. I have Mitch Marner to have 2 assists, and this will put him in the lone lead for NHL leader in points, unless Connor McDavid has 2 or more points himself. These guys are tied for points in the NHL lead with 12 apiece. So Mitch Marner, he's going to continue this tear he's been on recently. 2 assists. And then someone else who's been playing really consistent, Justin Hall. He's going to have 3 blocks and 3 hits. He's been a block shot machine, and he's been taking the body. I love what I've seen from Justin Hall, and he doesn't get enough praise. We've been praising him a lot on this show, and everyone in the comment sections loved what we've seen from Justin Hall so far. Clarky, what are your predictions?
Yeah, I got Matthew's 2 goals. I think that he's on a roll. He's going to continue that. And I have to agree with you. I think Marner said it earlier. I think he's always just seems to be involved on the ice. He always seems to set up plays or bring it in the zone, do something to create chances for his teammates. So I got Marner 2 assists too. I also went one step further. I know you don't have it on the board because it's just like random Edmonton. We don't really care what Edmonton does. We just want to win. But I got Quasimodo. I don't know if that's how you say his name. I always butcher it. Well, how do you say his name?
Koskinen, the goalie?
No, the guy that plays with McDavid on that line.
Yamamoto.
Yamamoto, yeah, Yamamoto. I got Yamamoto a goal and Kazian a goal. I think Kazian's going to get scrappy. He's going to bang one up in front of the net. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game. And it's interesting that a lot of the Leafs fans that we've seen, and if you haven't already, shoot your prediction in. Shoot the score. A lot of the Leaf fans think it's going to be a 2 or 3 goal deficit, and the Leafs get the dub.
Okay, and yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens with this game. We've got other predictions in here. We have Leafs are first in the NHL right now. It's early, but it's true. Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go!
Love it.
Jason says, I'll be happy if the Maple Leafs play a full 60 minutes. We've been stressing that. Got to stay consistent the full game, and we haven't seen a full game of dominant hockey from the Maple Leafs yet. Would love to see that.
Yep.
Simmons, Marner, Matthews, and Spezza. I think that's goal predictions. If Boyd plays again, I can definitely see him getting one. Travis Boyd had why not, right? Why not? 1 goal, 1 game with the Maple Leafs. Maybe he makes that 2 and 2. We'd love to see that. Love to see the contributions all the way up and down the lineup.
Yeah, for sure.
Corey said, as he says, 5-2 Toronto, Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, Kerfoot, and Brody, each with a goal. And that's a very in-depth analysis there. I mean, if that's all right, you should buy a lottery ticket or something.
Yeah, that'd be a nice bet if you got all those right.
That would be wild. It's going to be a defensive game. Jason thinks it's going to be 3-1 Edmonton.
Jason. Debbie Downer.
You know, you can't – I come on here a lot, and I take Toronto. I can't take Toronto every time. Even though I'm a Maple Leafs fan, got to be realistic. Call a spade here. The Maple Leafs aren't going to win however many games we have left. We're not going to win every one, I don't think. Nylander is due for a goal. Maybe we'll see it tomorrow.
He was looking good the first few games. Still is, though. Still is.
And to add on to Jason's point, Soup's going to get the goal. And you know what? I'd love to see that. Ilya Mikheyev contributing on the score sheet. I would love to see that. He is a guy who's just been held off the score sheet for far too long because his contributions, they've been very noticeable off the score sheet and just on the film, watching the game. He's been all over the place. But we've been on here for 1 hour and 15 minutes now. And as always, this is extremely fun coming on here. So I'm going to ask everyone in the comment section, please smash the like button. Hit the notification bell if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel in a big way. And it's so fun coming on here, talking to everyone. All the viewers of Maple Leafs Media. We're going to get some of you guys on a big 10-person show soon. Clarky, can you give your closing words for Maple Leafs Media?
Wow, it's tough. It was a great show tonight. And it's tough to give closing remarks on So it felt like 10 minutes of fun, but it's been an hour and 15 minutes. So, all I got to say is at the end of the day, this show's nothing without the fans. Rusty, Chuck, everyone coming in here, shooting your messages. This is a show by the fans and for the fans. And your comments really keep it going day in, day out. And Jake, your drive and determination too. We know how much work you're putting in. Keep it up. I know you released some good videos about Sittler and some other interesting content, and you're pumping it out. You did a 4-hour video last night. I was sleeping last night, and I want to sleep right now. So shows you're putting your heart and soul into this. So thank you. And I also just want to say, Leafs are on a roll. That's all that matters. The Buds are on a roll. Let's get it done tomorrow night. Everyone, stay healthy, stay safe, and have a good night.
Absolutely. I do pour my heart and soul into this. Thank you for stressing that. I mean, constantly just trying to pump out the best content I can. And it's very fun bringing out content for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I have an announcement coming in the near future. I was just talking recently to an NHL player, and I will be having another guest on the show in the near future. I'm not going to announce who yet, but I will be in the next coming weeks. So stay tuned for that, and prepare some questions that you might have for this former NHL player who won the Stanley Cup. It's going to be very fun to talk and have great discussions with him. So, Clarky, once again, thank you so much for coming on here and spending the last hour and 15 minutes with us. And to everyone watching this video, whether you just tuned in now or you've been with us the entire show, thank you. Hit the notification bell, smash the like button. And as always, this is Maple Leafs Media. Clarky, a.k.a. Clarky Snipes, and your guy, Jake. Till next time.